me, it looks like we are going the other way with a lot of this stuff, and it's just so many contradictory statements that have happened because of this whole mask sort of ordeal. And I don't think it works like they think that it works. Um, yes, I've made it clear. I've done many videos discussing how a lot of this stuff is arbitrary. It's not scientific. They like to say that it is, but generally when they say it's the science, all they're doing is appealing to authority, because in an event that someone is a scientist going to the same schools that come to a different conclusion, well, they generally get shunned. But just for context, the CDC had kind of reversed their reversal of mask guidance, definitely when it comes to even the vaccinated. Though arbitrarily, not with any new data or anything, they just up and said, hey, it's okay. They didn't show us any new data, let's say that. It's okay. You don't have to, if you're vaccinated, blah, 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 you don't have to wear a mask, all this stuff. Now they're reversing and they're saying if you're going into these areas, well, you have to now put a diaper on your face again, or you should. Now, again, I think it's important to understand that the effectiveness of that is still up for question. Okay, there has been no studies with random control trials that have affirmed that position. None. Still, like there's been some that have actually said, okay, it's inconclusive, but there haven't been any that have said for sure this is the way to mitigate this. None. They still tell you that this is sort of it's almost like they're going through the motions. But let's listen to Jen Psaki right now and what she's had to say about what we're doing with the mask thing, the administrations and their current handling of it. Let's go through it right now.
Dr. Fauci says we're going in the wrong direction. Whose fault is that?
So for context, again, the question was that Fauci just said that we're going in the wrong direction. The reporter is asking her, Jen Psaki, White House press secretary, who the hell fault is that?
Well, I would say first what he was referring to is the fact that because there is still a large population of people in this country who are unvaccinated, and we have the most transmissible variant that we've seen since the beginning of the pandemic, that more people are getting sick with COVID. And those numbers are not moving in the right direction. I think that's accurate, and you can see it by data.
Okay, and then on crime, it has been more than a month since the president announced his comprehensive
now, this is something else.
to prevent and respond to gun.
That's something else. I'm going to get to that in a different segment here in a little bit. But what they're referring to, and again, when it comes to this whole Max thing, obviously it was a bait by way of the reporter. Reporter's like, okay, you've now been in control, so whose fault is it? And basically she's saying that, well, it's the fault of the unvaccinated because they're not getting vaccinated. This new variant is now around, and it unfortunately is impacting definitely the unvaccinated. She also added, by the way, if it's a pandemic of unvaccinated still, then why excuse me. This is what this is Peter Doocy asked of himself, obviously asking this of Jen Psaki, and quote, if it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated still, then why do vaccinated people need to put masks back on? And this is what Psaki said in response. Well, Peter, first of all, I would say again, just go back to this chart, which I will handily point to again. If you are vaccinated, your life, it can save your life. And I think the clear data shows this pandemic is killing, is hospitalizing, is making people very sick who are not vaccinated. That still continues to be the case regardless of the mask, what the mask guidance looks like. So she never really actually answered that. And he asked again, he says, but if the vaccines work, which this sign says they do, then why do people who had the vaccine need to now wear masks the same as people who have not had it? And this is and matter of fact, let's listen in on this audio, by the way, because I think I have it right here.
Still, then why do vaccinated people need to put the masks back on?
Well, Peter, first of all, I would say again, just to go back to this chart, which I will handily point to again. If you were vaccinated, it can save your life. And I think the clear data shows that this pandemic is killing, is hospitalizing, is making people very sick who are not vaccinated. That still continues to be the case, regardless of what the mask guidance looks like.
The vaccines work, which this sign says that they do.
And hold on. I'm going to get to that second answer in terms of what she says. Nonetheless, to take a step back, it makes no sense if the vaccine works as they say that it does, then this idea that you're vaccinated, right? The guys that have got the jab, I'm not one of them. What's the point? And I think people lose sight of that, how that makes no fucking sense. Because if it works, like one of something has to be true. One of these two, like either it doesn't work in the way that you're telling us that it actually works, or maybe there's something about this virus that we don't know. But this is what she said in response to that, by the way, because the public health leaders in our administration have made the determination, this is in response to him following up with the question, based on data, that is a way to make sure they're protected and their loved ones are protected. And that's an extra step given the transmissibility of the virus that people, that they're advising people to take. So basically, it's an appeal to authority. Our health officials said that you should do it. Is it rooted in anything? No. And Ducey is actually referring to this chart that's behind it. Like, well, the chart says that the vaccine is supposed to work. Well, what are we doing? Now, when I say I don't think this works like they think that it works, I think actually they feel a lot of skepticism of it as well. Now, I would be skeptical of anything the government does, but you get what it is that I'm saying. They continue to dangle a carrot. They say you achieve it, or rather you go reach for the carrot, then, they give you the carrot, but they don't actually. They pull it from you, and then they say, well, you can't do it. And it doesn't make sense. It's not rooted in anything that they're showing us saying that, okay, this is why you need to do it. It's just because reasons. Extra layer of, what does that mean? Does it work or not? What do I need this extra layer of protection for if it works? Like you're saying that it works. And this has always been the issue with when the big entities, they're allowing people to talk about it a little more, but certainly early on in the pandemic, anything said to the contrary of the public health officials was deemed as some conspiracy, anti-science bullshit. But this is why you got to allow those conversations to be had. These guys are playing with folks' lives. And I do believe that going into the fall, definitely once we enter another flu season, they're going to attempt to lock you down again. And it'll always be blaming the unvaccinated. Though they are reversing their own measures, not showing us what new data they're attributing this to. They're just doing it. And then when questioned, it's like, because we said so. And then these fools got nerve to get mad at you if you say, you know what, something else is going on here, man. And that's not an irrational thought. That's the gaslighting, right? They got you questioning if you're the one that's crazy. That's not an irrational thought to have, to say, you say that the vaccine works one way, and then on the other side of your mouth, you're telling us to do something that the vaccine should prevent us from having to do. So which one is it? Is it that you don't know much about it? Is there some questionable tests going on? Is there something questionable about the virus in itself? Something in it has to be a hiccup. Or you're just stringing folks along, which, again, you have to leave up to consideration. Stringing people along to see how far you can actually drive them to do what it is that you want without even actually giving them a reason as to why you're doing it.